Yo, what is good, YouTube? Your boy's back from the Sports Scoop. Today we have a banger video, another NFL video. We have free agency signings from the NFC East. This will be a continuous series we do throughout the week. We'll probably have 2 videos per week on each division until we're done with all of them. Make sure if you haven't to like and subscribe. We would love to have you. We do a lot of all sports content. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, definitely make sure to drop a sub. Comment your guys' favorite teams, and also make sure to comment any videos you guys want to see because we'll definitely be looking into those comments. So let's get straight into it. With the first free agent signing, we have Blake Martinez, the middle linebacker from the Packers, getting signed by the Giants. I think me and Charlie are Giants fans. I think this is a very underrated signing. I think he's a really, really good middle linebacker, and he's one of the more slept-on linebackers in the league. I think he's a great pass cover type linebacker, and he's very good at tackling. That's something I've noticed. He's a really good tackler, and he's just a player that's going to be good. I think it's a linebacker's position we really needed, especially Alec Ogletree regressing at an insanely high rate. I think and I don't think Mayo is the answer to that. I don't know his first name, the linebacker. And I think Blake Martinez is definitely going to be a very, very good linebacker for the Giants. Charlie, what do you think about Blake Martinez?
So Martinez, I think it's a good signing. I think Martinez started out the year really strong. I think his second half of the year I think personally was not as good as the first half of the year, but he did go for over, I think, 150 tackles, about that. So that's a really good help to a Giants defense that sort of lacks a lot and needs a middle linebacker for sure. So I think that is a good signing that the Giants.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the next player, and that is James Bradbury, the corner from the Panthers. He is a very, very good corner. I think he's a very solid corner. He's that number 1 corner for the Panthers with 3 interceptions last season, 1 sack, 65 tackles. He's a solid corner. I think the Giants definitely need a corner, especially with questions in the air about DeAndre Baker. He's going to come back after those allegations about the robbery, or not allegation. I think it was it was allegations. It wasn't actually true about the robbery with Quentin Dunbar. But I think Bradbury, I like the signing. I think maybe there was better cornerbacks such as Kendall Fuller, who we have later in this video, who maybe they could have grabbed. But I think cornerbacker was a need, and I think they addressed that with a good corner. And 3 interceptions, that shows that you can get the ball. So I think Bradbury, and he's young. I'm pretty sure he's 26, so he'll be on the Giants team for the foreseeable future. Charlie, what do you think about him?
I do think that this is pretty much a best case scenario for both Bradbury and for the Giants. I think it's at the very least a short-term replacement at that number 1 cornerback spot, because I do think that Bradbury will be the number 1 corner from day one. However, I do not think that I feel like he's more better suited as the number 2, just because his interception numbers, while they were good with 3 interceptions last year, aren't spectacular and what you need from your number 1 corner. But all in all, I think the Giants made a good move in signing him to be, at the very least, a temporary replacement for a needed cornerback.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I agree with that. I think it is a good replacement for now, and I think he'll fill that role pretty well. Let's go to the next player, where we have Kendall Fuller. Personally, the best free agent cornerback in this free agent class. Going back to the Redskins after getting signed from the Redskins to the Chiefs. And I think for the Redskins, this is great. This is a corner that they definitely needed. Josh Norman is regressing very, very fast. I think he didn't have a great season last year, and I think this year is just going to be worse. I don't think he's going to get any better, and I think Kendall Fuller is definitely going to be that number 1 starting corner. For the Chiefs, I think this is bad because Kendall Fuller is a young player, and they don't have many corners. They really don't. They don't have a great corner, and Kendall was that great corner that they had. And then also on the Chiefs, he was technically a free safety. He was a safety. I know he didn't play that much corner on the Chiefs. So yeah, I think it's a good signing for the Redskins. I think they get back a corner that is very, very good, and I think they're definitely gonna love getting him from the Chiefs, the Super Bowl winners. Charlie, what do you think about Kendall Fuller?
So I think Kendall Fuller last year, although he's only been in the league for I think 3 seasons, this would be his fourth. He definitely had an off year last year,
Right.
and I'm not sure if he was hurt for a while last year, and I think he was
I believe he was,
towards the
yeah.
end of the season. Um, he didn't pick off the ball once last year, and only had about 50 tackles. So if he can return to his ways before last year when he was hurt, I think that this could be an absolute steal of a player for the Redskins for the next couple of years. I don't know how long they signed him for, but I think they could have. I think they probably got him on 4 or 5. Be a really good addition to um, our Redskins secondary that needs bodies.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Let's go to the next player where we have not not necessarily a and not they didn't pick him up, but the Redskins re-signing Brandon Scherff, a very good offensive lineman. I think definitely there's something they needed after trading Trent Williams to the 49ers. I think this is definitely a good signing for them, especially because that is that that is an offensive line that needs to protect Dwayne Haskins. There's not much to say about this pick. I think it's a good re-signing. I think they needed to resign this very good offensive lineman. I think they're happy to get him back and not let him go to another team. Uh, Charlie, what do you think about him?
I think Brandon Scherff is, in my opinion, one of the better guards in the league right now. Not necessarily like top two or anything, like not my top guy, but he is up there. He's a very good player, and they've got, as you said, Dwayne Haskins at quarterback, and they just recently picked up Cam Newton, which will give Haskins some competition, which will be good for
Oh, I
him.
didn't even know that.
So yeah,
Wow, I
which
didn't
will
know
be
that. Oh,
sweet.
okay.
But and I may be wrong, but that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now one of their biggest needs is protecting Haskins. So I think re-signing Brandon Scherff was just about the best thing they could have done.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next player where we have Ha Clinton Dix going to the Cowboys. Uh, I think this is interesting because Ha Clinton Dix was one of the best safeties in the league with the Packers, and then now is kind of getting bounced around from team to team, signing with the Redskins, and then with the Bears, and then with the Cowboys. And I think for the Cowboys, it's a good signing. I know they traded away Heath to the Raiders, so I think it's definitely a position they needed, and I think he was probably one of the better safeties in the league, and I think he's a very experienced safety who's definitely going to help out a team that's in win now mode, or at least win in a year mode. And I think he'll be that player. Although he is getting a little bit older, he definitely played well with 78 tackles last year, 2 interceptions, which is good for a player who's not at his prime. And I think the Cowboys will definitely probably have him for 1 to 2 years, maybe trade him next year. But I think for now it's a good signing. I think it's a solid signing, and he'll be a day one starter that they need in that safety position. Charlie, what about you? What do you think about him?
For sure. I think one of the weaker points on the Cowboys team with their loaded offense and a good defensive line and a solid linebacking core, after trading away Byron Jones, their secondary is for sure lacking. So picking up Ha Clinton Dix was a very good move. He had 2 interceptions last year, which is solid. He's coming back to the NFC East. He was with the Redskins in 2018. But last year he went for a good number of tackles, 2 interceptions. So I think he'll be, and he's an experienced player, decently experienced.
Mhm.
I think he'll be a wind up being a good signing for them.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the next pick where we have Gerald McCoy, the defensive end from originally the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was with the Panthers last year. I This is an signing. I mean, yeah, they get a solid defensive lineman. I think he's getting old. He's kind of like Ha Clinton Dix, is starting to bounce around from teams. Uh, with Tampa Bay for like almost 10 years, for 8 years from 2010 2018. And last year with Carolina, he had 5 sacks, 37 tackles, which is, it's all right. He's definitely a player that'll probably be a 1 to 2 year player that they're looking to just be a role player who's going to get some sacks and help out Lawrence on the side. So I think it's a good signing. He's one of the more experienced defensive tackles in the league, but I think it may end up being a waste of money. So it's just kind of a hit or miss type of player. Um, Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think for sure. McCoy is aging. He's just hit 32 years. And I think it'll be good to have another veteran on the D line. He, as you said, had 5 sacks last year, which is not exceptional, but it's all right for if he's not like your number one D lineman. And they have Demarcus Lawrence, so they don't need a number one D lineman right now. So I think that it's not a terrible signing. I don't think they necessarily needed it, but I don't think it'll hurt them too much because he'll be a solid body on the D line.
Mhm. Right. Let's go to the next, where we have Darius Slay, the corner out of from the Lions, going to the Eagles. I think this is one of the better free agency signings that the Eagles have taken. Um, I think he's a really, really good corner. I know he's an interception monster, and I think that um, it's a position of need for the Eagles, like a very, very big position of need, as their cornerback position is awful. One of the reasons they lost in the championship in their playoffs last year against the Seahawks. DK Metcalf kind of just like destroying that team because it's just cornerbacks just weren't where they had lacking cornerbacks. But I think it, he's starting to lose a little bit of his prime, but I think he's like just at the end of it. So I think next year he'll be a great player, starting number one corner for the Eagles. Especially one year he had 8 interceptions, which is insane in the 2017 season. Last year with 2 and 46 tackles, which is pretty good. Like Ha Clinton Dix, he's starting to regress a little bit, but I think next year is gonna be where he's gonna need to show what kind of player he's gonna be for that Eagles team, either in the future or for a different team. Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the Eagles got a steal out of this. Wasn't a free agent signing, but they only traded. And I know I say only, but you could definitely get good players for this. But they traded a third round pick and a fifth round pick, which, considering how good of a player Darius Slay is, it could have been worse.
Mhm.
So I think Slay, he's 29 years old. He only had 2 interceptions last year and about 50 tackles, and he had 3 interceptions the year before. I think that he'll step into the starting role for the Eagles ahead of like Jalen Mills and Rodney McLeod.
Mhm.
So I think he'll have shoes to fill going up against that Cowboys team. It'll be definitely some tough matchups with Amari Cooper. Um, so I think the Eagles got a steal out of Slay. They should have at least a few years with him. So I think it's a good signing.
Mhm. To the next player, where we have uh Hargreaves. What's his first name? Blank on his
Javon
first name.
Hargreaves.
Javon Hargreaves, a defensive tackle from the Pittsburgh Steelers, going to the Eagles. I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but not someone I really know in the NFL. I know he is a pretty good defensive tackle, matching up with Casey Hayward. Or Casey Hayward. Sorry, wrong, completely wrong player. Uh, what's the defensive lineman on the Steelers? Hayward.
Cameron Hayward.
Cameron Hayward. My bad. Casey Hayward is a cornerback from uh the Chargers, but I think he's gonna be a good kind of backup defensive lineman or pair with Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox being one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the game. So I think, it's a good pickup. I think it's, not necessarily not needed, not necessarily needed. I think he'll be a solid role player. He'll get 5 to 6 sacks per season. So I think they're not going to regret signing him, but it's not going to be that boom signing like Darius Slay was for them. Yeah, that's what I think. Charlie, what do you think about him?
I think Hargreaves is a really good player. I think um, definitely prominent in the run stopping game and also the pass rushing. He only had 4 sacks last year, which was a bit of a down season from the year before where he had 6.5. But he did have a bunch more tackles. He had 60 tackles last year. And he's only 27 years old. So I think that he could be D tackles can go for a little while. So I think they have maybe 5 years with him still near or at his prime. So I think this is a good one. I think he'll be a good pair with Fletcher Cox, who is a beast. Um, so I think very good signing, just coming off of his rookie contract.
Um, yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up the video. As we said, this will be a continuous series we do, so make sure to go check out the other ones that we do in the next upcoming weeks. Also, yesterday we interviewed the Buccaneers offensive lineman Ali Marpet. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure to go watch and like that video. I think are one of our best videos we've done on this channel so far. Yeah, we hit 400 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for that. 400 subscribers in about like a week and a half, which is insane. Thank you guys so much. 500 soon, and then after that, we're gonna go for the 1,000. Yeah. So again, drop a comment. What do you guys think of the video? Any other free agent signings that you guys think? And yeah, we'll make sure to look at the comments. So thank you guys so much. And that's us. That's it for us for this video. See you later.